Yes, we're live now.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Tonight is the meeting of the Architectural Review Board. We have one matter for continuation and 6 new matters to be heard. My name is Deborah Hargraves. I'll be filling in for Rick Rizzullo, who is the chair of the ARB. He had a family emergency and has asked me to step in. So without any delay, let us begin, and we'll call the first matter to order, the continuation 125 North Broadway, the subject of which is installation of solar panels. If you're present for the presentation tonight, if you could just let Sarah know, and we'll make sure that you get logged in.
Hi, good evening. Can you all hear me?
We can. Are you able to turn on your video as well?
I'm gonna try that. Here we go. And would you like me to share my screen again?
Please. And if you could just identify yourself for the record.
Yeah, my name is Tim Godare. I'm a rep for Sunrun Solar, representing these homeowners. So I was here back in October and presented before the board. We had a couple adjustments, nothing major. What we are proposing, we have 29 solar panels on this property, majority of which, 19 of which are on the back of the house, and then 10 on the front of the house with a layout of 2x5 on the front. And for just for understanding of the layout of the house, this is what we adjusted based on the feedback from the board last time I was here. The rendering wasn't to scale last time, so we had our design team adjust it. So this is to scale front and back. And with the 10 panels on the front of the house, you can see the street out front here, clean on the front, and then the rest making use of the back of the roof plane, the back of the house. So 29 panels in total. They are primarily all black. You can see this is accurate to the manufacturer of the panel. There is some just very slight metallic around the frame of the panel. The rest, the cells itself in the back, are all black. So we were here back in 2019. These are upgraded panels and a better looking array compared to then too.
Okay, thank you. I seem to recall the last meeting too, there was some concern or at least conversation about proper notice. Can you just address that as well? Have you been able to properly notice and present with your application, either certified receipts or something along those lines?
We did, following that last meeting, we notified additional properties, and I believe there's, I have that up here. 4 additional properties that we notified, and we do have receipts of those too.
Great. Okay. And my only other question was, when you indicate that you now have made this presentation that the renderings are more accurate, are the same number of panels are present in the front as was the last application, or did you remove some and put more on the back?
It's all the exact same layout. It's just the scale was not correct on the front, and the panels appeared smaller than what they will be when installed.
Okay. Okay. Any members of the board have any comments or questions?
No, it's a good rendering. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other residents who were notified about the panels, Sarah, that are present and want to be heard before we take a vote on this application?
If anybody wanted to make public comment, they can hit the raise hand button. But I do not see anybody raising their hand to speak.
Okay. I will say that I appreciate that you did come back and provide what we had asked. I know that you've been here a couple times before. I think some of the members, at least in the past, have indicated that while there are challenges with front-facing solar panels, especially when it's a house such as this on Broadway, and in
Right.
particular, when there's an apartment building across the street, that we had concerns with glare, as well as, other distractions that could be presented both for drivers and residents. It seems that you've given the proper notice, and certainly that has given the neighbors an opportunity to object if they had any. Again, I'll ask if there's anybody from the public here to speak. If there is, if you could raise your hand. Otherwise, I think we're ready to take a vote. Okay, Sarah, no participants?
No, nobody's raising their hand to speak, and no comments in the chat.
Okay. All right. So with that, can we have a vote by the Architectural Review Board, whether it's to approve the application for solar panels at 125 North Broadway? Is there a first?
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. By a vote of 5-0, you are approved.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
You too.
Okay, now we'll continue with the new matters. Our first one this evening is 97 Fargo Lane, ARB matter 21-99. If you're here to present, if you could indicate that to Sarah. Lori Alfredo, are you present? If you are, you're still muted. Great. And are you able to turn on your video?
I just tried to and it didn't work.
Mhm.
Huh. Oh, here we go. There I am.
Great. How are you? Are you also here for 95 Fargo Lane?
Yes, 95 and 97.
Okay, so let's just to be clear that, so that's going to be ARB matters 2199 and 21100. Could you make your presentation, share your screen if you're able, and explain how the two matters are related?
Okay, so this is, oh, hold on. Here we go. Okay. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
All right. So let's start with the first one. And that would be, so basically 95 and 97, there are existing fences. And what we have done is, unfortunately, before we came here, we started to replace the fences with exactly the same fence. And unfortunately, we weren't aware that we had to go through the Architectural Review Board and we made a mistake. But if you notice here in the highlighted purple, this is exactly where the existing fence is. That's exactly where the new fence is going. And this is 97. And then this was 95. And again, this one's highlighted in orange. It's exactly the same fence, exactly the same place. And it's just, it's old, it's dilapidated, it doesn't look good. So the homeowner wanted to replace it. And this is where all the pictures are. Okay, hold on. Oop. Come on. Oh, we'll do touchscreen. So this is, come on. Okay, so this is the fences. And if you can see here, this is the old fence. It's old, it's falling apart. Old fence is here again, right in this location. And, oh, come on, don't fail me now. Oh. Sorry, I'm having issues. It's not moving. But basically you can see exactly where the old fence is, and you can see especially, and I can't point to it because I'm not, oh, here I am. I'm moving again. This is falling apart. So what we're doing is we're just replacing and putting up the new fence. And if you can actually see, and again, you're not moving, shoot. The new fence over by the V tree on the right-hand side of your screen is the new fence. The old fence is on the left-hand side of your screen in between the bush and the tree. So it's basically the same fence. One is, the original fence was called a post and rail. The new fence is a board and rail. They're the same height. They're 60 inches. The old fence did have chain link on it. The new fence is going to have 1 inch by 1 inch 14 gauge welded wire. It's going to be 1 inch saw oak, 1 inch by 6 inch boards with a 5 inch by 5 inch post. There are pools in the property. Each one will be meeting pool code. And the wire, of course, will be on the inside of the fence. So that way it will meet pool code. Well, actually the outside for the pool areas.
Okay.
Magnet latches and of course gates.
Okay, so in addition to the photographs of what you just showed us, do you have can you show us the sketch again of what you're proposing to
Yeah.
install? Just so we know what we're signing off on.
Of course. And this is a sketch of what we're installing.
Okay. And now let's just break it down one more time. And again, what is your relationship to each of the homeowners? What position do you have?
We are we're going to be the installers.
Okay, so two properties getting the same exact fence, both in height and material, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so for 97 Fargo Lane, you said, is it already installed, part of it?
Part of it is installed on 95 and 97. Yes.
Oh, both of them have private
Yes.
installation. Okay. Okay. All right. And then just so we know what we're signing off on, if you just show us now 97 Fargo Lane,
Yep. This is 97.
and the purple represents the run of the new fence that you're installing. So the
Yeah.
the stockade fence that is depicted, that's not highlighted purple, that's not being replaced?
Yes, the parts that are not purple. Sorry, the parts that are not purple are not being replaced.
Okay, before we move on, do any of the other members of the board have any questions on 97 Fargo Lane? No.
Just not to be thick about this, where it says stockade, yet it's got the purple line, that is going to be the new, the board fence, right?
Where it says stockade and it is not the purple line, that is not going to be changed.
No, I meant where it's,
Oh.
where it is the purple line on either side of the
Okay.
house.
That is actually not existing stockade. Everything that's highlighted in purple is the board fence. Everything highlighted in purple will be a new board fence.
Great, okay.
It also says there's a stone wall there along Sunnyside. Are you altering the stone wall?
No, the stone wall was on the survey.
So is the fence going in front of the stone wall?
The fence, the stone wall is no longer existent.
Oh,
All right. Now, if you could switch to 95 Fargo Lane. Okay, and likewise, the orange/yellow coloring represents where you're replacing the board fence.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any questions from the board on this application?
Do we need indication of gates or anything like that?
Indication of what?
The gates,
Are there gates?
entries?
There will be, there
Yeah.
is. I'm gonna move you over. On 95, there will not be any gates, but on 97, there is a gate right over here. And that should be it. So right here.
Okay, well, that was a good question because it needs to be indicated on the drawing. And
Okay.
we also need to know the size of the gate, the width and the height.
Okay.
Are you able to do that tonight so that as amended, this can be approved?
I will, yes, I will do that tonight.
Okay, are you able to do it right now with a marker of any sort?
Unfortunately, no, because I'm at home and I don't have that capability at this very second.
Okay, so why don't you describe then, so the location of the gate, are you able to tell us?
It's 3 feet wide,
Mhm.
60 inches high, and it will be pool code.
And the location is at, it emanates from what, where the garage is? Is that what that says?
Yes.
Okay. And is there a gate exists there now?
Yes.
Okay, so you're replacing the gate in kind. So in other words, the gate is going to be exactly the same size and height?
Yes.
Okay, I think because it's a replacement gate, it's not going to be a problem and Rick wouldn't object to us approving it as long as that's mentioned. Would the others on the board agree?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I think so. I'm assuming there must be other gates. Are those just not being worked on? It looks like there's one across the back and you have a pool, so I know you need more than a 3-foot gate, obviously. So,
There's a gate over here and that's not being worked on now.
okay.
Okay, well, then that is what that will be submitted for approval is just the fence as depicted, and then the one gate in kind, which is 3 foot wide and 60 inches high. If there's another gate that, just so you're aware, it would not be approved tonight because it's not depicted on the survey. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, so why don't we just do both applications separately for approval so as to make our chair's life simpler. So I'll start with 97 Fargo Lane. Can we get a motion to approve the application from a member of the board?
So move.
Okay, Gail, so move. And all in favor of approval of 97 Fargo Lane for the fence as depicted in purple and the one gate replacement in kind?
Aye.
Okay, approved 5-0. And likewise for 95 Fargo Lane, can we get a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
So moved by Gail and a motion to approve the fence as depicted in the schematic for 95 Fargo Lane. So moved and approved.
Aye.
5-0. Okay, you are good to go.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, we have the third application, 3 Riverview Court, ARB 21-101. If you are appearing on behalf of the applicant, if you could so identify yourself, that would be great.
If you're here representing that application, can you please hit the raise hand button?
Okay, I see a comment, Sarah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Elliot Maltby, you are muted if you are present. There you go. Fantastic. How are you?
There are 2 of us here.
Great.
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Can you identify yourself for the record, please?
Sure. Elliot Maltby and Mark Mancuso. We're the architects working with 3 Riverview Court.
Okay, you can proceed. If you can present the application and share the screen, we're ready to go.
All right. You can see?
We can.
Great. So we are proposing a handful of alterations to the exterior of this building. We're at 3 Riverview Court. You can see that the house is primarily screened from view by trees. Really the only visible part of the building, this is at the end of the driveway at the kind of roundabout of Riverview Court. Just some existing photographs of the house. By and large, I would say mostly we're keeping the exterior intact with some kind of strategic alterations. Primarily, there are new windows and doors at these 3 locations here. We're transforming this portico into a balcony for that upper level. New paving at that balcony and the patio below, new exterior lights, new stucco and trim colors, new colors at doors and windows. We're removing some of the decorative trim and then removing a handful of windows and doors. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into where this is the existing elevation that, and I can zoom in if that's helpful. We're, as I said, removing all the trim. In this case, you can see we're removing this window. We're replacing any of the exterior lights. We're removing this door and changing the color, as I said. Next drawing is an illustrative version of that, of the proposed changes with the colors that are being proposed by our clients. So going from yellow to this, basically it's a white, it's got a little bit of, it's light gray to it maybe. And then black at the windows, black at the doors, and black at the garage doors. I'll show you the light fixtures in a minute, but you can see a handful of light fixture changes as well. This is the other set of existing elevations, seeing where we're removing windows, replacing lights, 1 and 2, 3 areas where we're enlarging the windows, removing trim, and removing 2 more windows here. Is that it for the windows? Yeah.
Color is the trim on the windows?
Currently,
No,
it
the
is-
replacements.
Oh, the proposed is the same color as the
Current.
stucco. So the trim and the stucco is a single color, and then just the window, the frames within the window are black, and the doors are black. You can see light fixtures that we're changing, and then the colors, and just sort of like stripping down some of the trim detail. And the other, just seeing these colors a little bit up close. This is the railing that's happening here that I noted was above the new portico. And then the lights are all a single kind of designer and system. In some instances, it's a single element. In a handful of places, it's a double. And only in one place, it's the sort of 4 glow pieces, which is at the entrance. And the last piece is the paving at these 2 locations. These are sort of stacked on top of each other. So there's the, at the lower level is Kirby slate, and at the upper level is a ceramic tile of a similar color on pedestals for water flow, essentially. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, with the window and door replacement, can you show us the schedule that itemizes and details how many windows, how many doors, and what the styles are?
We don't have that. I can probably pull that up quickly. Let's see. Can I show you on the elevations, or you need a schedule?
Could we
Well-
maybe look at the elevations and
Sure.
compare existing to proposed?
Sure.
I see a window schedule. Page 4 of 6 on the plans.
Yeah, it's on the plans, but
It's
not
on the plans. It's-
not on this
Yeah,
presentation.
we included in the submission. I didn't pull it up for this presentation. I can pull it up quickly. Would you like
If you
me
want
to?
to just pull up your plans.
I think you can continue as you're about to proceed, just existing versus proposed.
Okay. Here is where we're removing, mostly removal. There are no proposed changes to, or no new windows or doors in these 3 elevations. So that's the existing. This is the proposed. So there is a couple of removals in those two drawings, or three drawings rather. And then it's really these three elevations are the elevations facing west primarily, which is this elevation. So existing is, this is the area. I can zoom in if that's helpful. So these windows, this area below are being changed. We're removing some windows in the light wells on this facade. On here, we're removing these two windows. And then above here, we're proposing a larger two enlargements in those locations. So these are the two enlargements. And then this is the primary big change is on this west facing facade where they have a very phenomenal view of the river that they wanted to maximize exposure to.
Okay.
It's sort of a factory aesthetic, right? What do the windows look like up close? Are they steel casement or?
They're steel windows when they're meeting energy code, but they are steel windows. Yeah, they wanted a little bit of maybe a New York loft in this one area, let's say.
Yeah, they're fabricated out of steel, but they're painted black, and they're flat sort of casing. So it kind of does it. You don't really tell difference between that and the wood windows. The only difference is the style and rails are much thinner than a typical wood door. You know, it's
so this is drawn to scale, so you can see there. That's helpful.
And is it trimmed with wood? Do you have a section through the window, a detail?
We do have details in them.
Yeah, get out to the side here.
Will you speak to that?
Yeah. So there's no wood trim. It's, you know, on the inside, it's the sheetrock wall just meets it's sort of a metal frame, a steel frame painted, and then a steel sash in style and rail.
But on the exterior, it's just a stucco.
In the exterior, the stucco, because it fills that entire opening. It's kind of like the stucco just runs into it. There's no trim around the window.
You don't have a section of what was existing, do you?
We don't, no.
This westward facing elevation, can you show it, the house on the plot plan or on an area location map?
Yep.
So we can
see
where it is.
So here's within the village of Irvington. It's long and thin in this direction. Here's the river. So you consider it almost as like a prow, like a boat, let's say, and that is this shape here. So this is the west facade facing the river. The driveway that we pointed out earlier, is coming in here. So all of this is screened. This is screened. It's quite topographical. It's not really steep. This is a drop off here, but becomes very steep here. So you're looking over houses. You don't see any houses from the view at all. You're looking, across the river essentially.
What's the age of the house? I'm sorry for
I think it's about 10 years old.
Wow, it's a very jarring change. It doesn't go down that easily. Does anybody else on the board have an opinion?
I don't necessarily have a strong opinion because I do know the location of the house and I do understand how few will be able to see this. So in terms of, aesthetically blending in with the neighborhood or being concerned about the characteristic of the neighborhood being changed by this, I would ordinarily likewise be speaking up about that, but this is fairly private back there. So for those reasons right now, that's why I'm not put off so much by what they're proposing. And I do understand the need or the want to capture more of the Hudson River view from that angle.
Because right now it's just punched windows, right, in the elevation. Essentially.
Yeah, it's punched windows and punched doors. So the bottom level is
Pretty transparent on the bottom, yes.
The bottom is pretty much all glass, but they're wood doors. And then the upper level is punched windows, correct?
We are seeing more of this at Matheson Park than we have been on Riverview. But I understand what you're saying, Mitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm new to the board, so I'm reluctant to venture opinions, but I would have sort of looked for more hierarchy of mullion. I mean, it's just a wall of glass essentially. Is it a Hope's windows? Who's the manufacturer?
They're called Metro, but they're similar to Hope's.
Very similar.
Yeah. They're thermally insulated, thermally broken steel, so they're highly insulated.
I'm sure they're very handsome. I have no doubt about that.
I mean, our approach definitely was to keep the facades that are visible, so that would be the one facing the driveway, basically the two that are facing the driveway. Those are pretty much, there are no new windows. It's to the west and then to the north, which is backed up against like a kind of, I don't know, it's not a preserve, but it's there again, there's no visibility of neighbors from that side at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can tell from the facade rendering, but the windows, they're set back.
Yeah, the elevations are pretty flat. It's hard to see.
Yeah,
so
it's you can
see
see here.
Yeah, so it's set back within that sort of niche.
Oh yes, yeah, it's captured by the projections.
The two pieces that
exactly.
turn out. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, just to not leave you out there on your own, Mitch, I think it looks really interesting. I happen to love Hope's doors and those wonderful hallways, if you know those steel windows, but and it is a little hard to imagine, and I'm sure you have a better view, going forward, Mitch, but I kind of like it. So, but I'm a modernist, so and it's an interesting house, and I would think it's one that's a little hard to alter and make it, sort of cohesive. But.
Right. I mean, it's so determinedly historicist that I've definitely seen some similar things in buildings like in the city.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm okay with it. I mean,
I will have to say though, for us to understand what exactly we're approving, while the presentation has been very helpful, I do need to see the schedule now to understand the exact number and make and model of what you're proposing.
Do you want to look at that now? Because
if you could, only because we're still talking about the windows, that would be helpful.
Yeah. I'm just going to stop sharing for 1 second so I can pull this up, if you don't mind. Let's see this right.
exterior. And just go to page. I think it's on 2.
Why don't I just open the whole thing, because
Okay.
then we just have it in case we need to look at anything else. All right, I'm gonna share my screen again.
Michael, can we pull it up from the other?
Looking for page. Here's one. Here, I don't know if that's legible. If you want me to talk through it, or if you want me to show you the full screen after you see that for a sec.
Yeah, let me just, so in terms of the count or the grouping, so in this, those two of them are outswinging French doors with a fixed panel on each side.
Yeah, the bottom three will go to the elevation. So the bottom three are identical, and they're two. So each bay, there are 3 bays. In each bay, they have the double French doors that swing out with side light on each side.
So there's that.
That make essentially four panels per bay, and there's 3 of those. And then the upper one, there's 3 bays again. These windows are, one's a swing door, and then the other are bifolds. So that opening, essentially the opening opens up entirely to the outside.
Okay.
And then on the north facade, which is even
Where it's
less.
on this page.
Yeah, I believe, yeah, it's
Yeah.
there.
All right.
There are 3.
This is in the kitchen
This is,
here.
yeah, in the kitchen, 3 outswing double casements, identical. And then on that same facade, this is in a bedroom. There's two sort of mirrored 3-bay windows with a casement in each of them.
And otherwise they're fixed.
Yeah,
The rest of
otherwise
the rest fixed. So.
And this facade is really remote. I mean, this faces the woods. I mean, you can't,
Maybe I can go back to
Yeah.
if you can see, well, yeah, if you can see, this is very, very heavily wooded on that side.
yeah, so it's that
That
face.
space here.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind, just go back to that schedule. so I
Yeah.
can double check. So you've got 01 through 11. Okay, and then door schedule. So that's it. I did the count 1 through 11. You showed us, and then as far as doors,
That's it. There's no door. The doors are
there was
the French doors.
Isn't there a single door you were replacing as well, or
No.
eliminating? Oh, eliminating. You were
We're
eliminating.
taking
eliminated-
some out.
There were
Oh, right.
some additional doors that we're removing.
Okay, so no new doors are being installed, just eliminated, and this is the window schedule for 1 through 11 that are being proposed.
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay, and in terms of elimination, did you say there's 1 door or 2 doors that are eliminated?
2 doors and I think 5 windows.
1, 2. Yeah. No, 7 windows.
What am I missing? The ones on
The ones in the basement.
Oh, right.
Okay, all right, so 2 doors, 7 windows eliminated. 1 through 11 are the new windows. You showed us the lighting. Can you show us the detail of the railing?
Yep.
Okay. And that is painted steel.
Are those spheres holding up the top rail essentially on top of the little arch elements?
Yeah, they're little spheres.
The walls.
The clients saw essentially this design, I think during their early romance. So it's a nod to their history.
Say that again, sorry?
They saw this railing design in Italy
Oh.
during their early romance. So it's a nod to that.
And that only appears, I think as you
I can go back to the
Yeah.
other drawing.
Just the west elevation, just the west elevation, correct?
Exactly.
It's
yeah,
just
there.
here, exactly.
And just to be clear, how many posts are fastened down? It seems like they're all sort of into a matrix at the bottom, or what is that bottom rail? Just.
Yeah, that's sort of like a flat piece of steel, but that's what attaches to the face of the balcony. And then essentially all those uprights, which are very thin, they're about 3/8. Every 4 inches, they connect into that.
I see, and so that's actually on the I don't know, the face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is this line here. Sorry, this is
I see.
that.
And is that going to be
Picture.
black? That line?
That will
I
be
mean, that
black.
material?
Yeah.
And the height is what?
3'7".
Could you zoom up on your windows again on that elevation?
Sure.
It's very fanciful, and it actually helps, I think, a lot.
So funny. It's the word the thought I just had, Mitch.
What, fanciful?
Yes.
The railing, yeah, the railing maybe pulls it back from its austere modernism a bit.
It does, yes, it absolutely does. And this balcony, I mean, it's not clear to me. Sorry, is it supported mid-span with columns?
No.
Or it's a
Like,
It's
this
a
whole
36-foot span?
It is, there is a very large steel beam in there.
Yowza.
That's hidden.
All right.
And there's no lighting in that area, right?
Yeah, you can see it.
Where's that?
No lighting up here.
Yeah, up top, there's no lighting.
Yep.
Only the
Those
lighting.
windows will glow.
For the lights, did you look at the dark sky guidelines and how that could be followed?
We're basically replacing what's there. I have not looked at the dark sky. I can.
These lights,
There,
I was just gonna say, the output, the
It's
lumen output is very low.
low. Yeah.
Well, the building department will be checking that to make
Yeah.
sure there's dark sky compliance. So I'm sure you'll face that down the road, but this is what you're proposing for now. I assume we're gonna assume that you are compliant.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes, you might be able to sell it with those bulbs with the little dome cap.
Oh, at the top.
Yeah,
I think, both the tube globe and the foreglobe are also underneath a portico of some kind.
Yeah,
So the only ones that are, exposed are the single elements.
those 5.
Yeah. And we could do a little cap on those for sure.
Well, that's a lot of fun, really. So that's great.
so the last thing I have, we covered the windows, the doors, the railing, and the lighting is the paving. You showed us an example, but if you could show us where it's being installed.
Yep. Let's go next page. So it's, here's the plan of the building. It's in this little inset piece. We're just replacing that area on the ground floor with the slate. And then at the proposed balcony, it's ceramic pavers on pedestals.
Is there any landscaping going in front of this, or?
There are plans for landscaping. There is a big existing patio. There's a pool. There's a fair amount of existing landscaping. The clients are working with a landscape architect, I think on a different schedule, looking like they'll be working in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I had in terms of what we had to understand that we're approving. Are there any other questions from members of the board? No. Okay. Alrighty. I think we can move forward then and take a vote. Is there a motion to approve this application?
I move.
Okay, Mitch and Can we have a vote, please, whether to approve the application of 3 Riverview Court as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
We're approved 5-0.
Great.
Thanks for
Thank
the
you so much.
presentation, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We can leave now.
I guess so.
Okay, so our next application is 23 Hudson Avenue, ARB 21-102, proposed 2-family residence.
If you're here to represent the application, can you please hit the raise hand button?
Okay, we are still waiting if anybody is present.
Yes, they're here.
Great. When you're ready, if you can unmute, you can begin your presentation. And please turn on your video. Hi, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Lou Saiz. I'm the architect involved in the project. Excuse for my voice. I was just discharged from the hospital last night, so I'm a little hoarse after 4 days.
Oh, boy.
Well, let me share my screen, just get the show rolling. All right, tonight we're here to present a single-family home that is a single-story. Actually, let me go to this drawing first. The photographs to the left are the existing residence. It's a single-story ranch that exists. It has various different height additions on the back. And what we're proposing is doing an addition over the existing plus a small addition and creating a 2-family house. One of the dwelling units will be in the basement. So basically you won't see anything from the street of the second dwelling unit, but at the street level here, it's going to look just like a single-family home. The other item on the agenda for this location would be a fence. And the fence will be going from this point of the property aligned with the face of the house all the way to the back, connect to the garage here, and then across the back here with a gate to access this back area where the creek runs. And then it will run all the way across the property line to the front again and align with the house here. We have 3 options for the fence, and those 3 options are along here. And we haven't selected an option. The owner's at this meeting also. If you want his opinion of which he would like to install, he could express that. He'll probably throw the option to the board for you to choose which one you like the most. But basically he's looking just to get this project approved because he's been in limbo for about 8 months now and very anxious to get the project going. So in regards to the fence, if the board would like to select it, I'm pretty sure he's more than happy to comply. And I don't know if this is where you want to start or if you want to go back to the building.
Let's begin with the building itself, then we can
Okay.
add the fence, okay?
All right, so once again, like I said, this is the existing building here. And this is the street elevation here. This is the side elevation where it goes down the driveway to the garage. This is the rear elevation. And this is the other side elevation opposite facing east.
Mhm.
This is the addition that we're proposing. It's a small addition. It aligns with the existing wall of one of those small additions that exist now. And It's going to be built on stilts, so we could maintain the fenestrations that exist in the existing foundation. And this line here complies with the existing, not the existing, but the 30-foot setback that is required within this zone. So that's what determined this point of the addition. The rest of this addition over here, plus the porch in front, was required variances, and we're granted all of them.
Was there stairs off? Is there a second exit on the first floor?
No,
Just the front door?
exactly. Existing does have, let me go back here, does have an existing door and stairs coming down, but we're removing that.
You said it's a two-family residence?
No, currently it's a single family residence. We have been approved by the planning board for a two-family.
But what you're building is a one-family or a two-family?
No, two-family.
So where's
But
the
this area here, what you're seeing is going to be one dwelling unit. So when you go down, oh, so this is one dwelling unit here.
Mhm.
The second dwelling unit is down here. So this is the entrance to that dwelling unit. And this is a window into one of the living area. The bedrooms are located in the back. So if we go back up to the top,
Do you have the interior drawings?
you want the floor plans?
Yeah, just so we can follow what you're saying.
Okay, I'm gonna have to open that up. All right, so these are existing floor plans. Currently, it was an existing family room, existing den, 2 bedrooms on the lower level with an existing bathroom with a staircase going to the top floor. And then this was the existing top floor with the entrance off the street, which had a living room and 2 additional bedrooms and an eat-in kitchen.
Okay.
So what we're proposing now is same 2 bedrooms, the living area with a kitchen with laundry. This will be the mechanical area back here with a full bath. And then the upper dwelling unit, this will be the entrance to proposed living area, kitchen, dining area, and great room. And then the staircase to the second floor with proposed laundry, pantry, and powder room. And then on the upper level, once you get up to the second level, this will be a hallway bathroom, master suite, bedroom, bedroom, bedroom.
Okay, thank you.
So let's go back to the front elevation. Oh, sorry.
Could you discuss the porch? It's a flat roof sort of, or is that an open trellis?
This is an open porch with a flat roof with a mahogany finished fascia, gray brick, wood support columns encased in gray brick with a limestone cap. And the exposed wood would be painted black. This brick also will be gray with a limestone cap. All the siding will be white. All the windows will be black. And the lintels on top will be black wood. And then all the trim work will be black with mahogany corbel accents coming down across. The shingles will be black. I had written gray, but the owner has changed his mind. He wants to go with a black shingle. And that's what the front elevation comprises of. The side elevation, zoom out. I'm not too good with this sharing screens, and
No, it's very clumsy. Yeah.
yeah, I apologize.
It's
Not
not
too
good.
smooth.
Take your time.
But the side elevation, once again, black shingles, black trim, but the whole siding is going to be vinyl, white siding. All the windows will be black casements. I already described the front open porch. On the back deck is going to be a mahogany finish on the fascia or the face of the decking. We're going to go with black support guard post and black cable rails. And then on the rear elevation, basically emulates the front. We're going to have black trim, white siding. The post will be black with the black cable, mahogany, and the support area. And then the last elevation emulates the same thing, black fascias and the white siding. And we're transferring the same design onto the existing garage. So we're going to bring, refit it. It's existing all stucco, but we're going to add, we're going to side the center area with white siding and the gable end with white siding, and add one casement windows here with the black trim and the corbel accents.
What's the gray band under the window in the garage?
That's just a different color. I chose a lighter shade to show that that's going to be black also. It's not, I just try to show the depth, but all the trim will be black.
Give a sample of the siding. I'd really, I mean, that's the one thing that sort of stands out for me. You're doing all this work to create this, obviously a much better structure than what's there. The vinyl siding to me sort of is going to take away from it. And we're pretty negative on vinyl in general.
That I will defer to the owner because he put this whole application in and he's the one who selected to go with vinyl. And I know he's on a tight budget. Hardy board would have been my preference, and
yeah, thank you.
But it's triple the cost. I did it on my own home, especially during this period of time when all the materials have escalated through the roof. So, Perry, are you on there? Perry?
Oh, he just raised his hand. I'm going to allow him to come in.
Okay.
Luis, in the future, I mean, when you do the presentation, if you had time to do a rendering of it, it's very useful for us. Like the roof, for example, which will be black, just looking at it, it won't read this way exactly. It's going to be, the windows are going to be sort of dark spaces on a white background, and the roof will be a sort of.
I think Perry was inspired by something that he saw.
Yes.
And he has photographs of that. So
That
he
would
could
be
share that
useful.
screen and give you a better idea where he was inspired for this design.
It's
I had
useful.
my own designs and he shot them down. So let him share his thoughts and ideas where they came from. And I kind of just took those, comments he had and ideas and created this. You there, Perry?
Perry, I'm trying to invite you in as a panelist. If you could please accept.
Okay, we can see that you're trying to join us. If you're able to turn on your camera, that would be helpful. Nope, I think we just. Super. We see you. Okay, now I think are you muted? Okay, and now you can unmute. Okay, now we should be able to hear you now. No.
Volume?
Can you turn up the volume? No, still we're not able to hear. Can you tell Sarah? I see that he's unmuted and his video is working.
It's probably an issue on his end.
No, unfortunately, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
was on
Welcome. Great.
I was on the air. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Okay, so I heard a little bit there about the rendering and what I picked. Obviously, I was looking at a budget when I first rolled this out, and now a year later, I'm still looking at that budget, and costs have totally inflated. So I'd hope to be able to stay with the original rendering that we designed, that I twisted my architect's arm to use. I think it is obviously a little bit more modern, but it's a little bit more cost effective with the siding that I picked.
Do you have an example of the siding? Can we see exactly?
Yes, yes, I do. Let me just. How would I share something?
At the bottom of the screen, there's a tab says share.
Share screen, it's green.
Oh, share content. Okay. Let me just.
By the way, Louise, the layout looks really good. It's very efficient. It's going to really be a huge improvement.
Thank you. That's one thing I do pride myself is spatial design.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle sometimes on the exterior, but.
Louise, do you have to stop sharing? I'm not even sure how this works.
All right, I'll do that because my
Maybe.
screen is still up. So let me do that.
So, can you see what I'm looking at now or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. We're gonna remove what's on our screen.
Okay, there you go.
All right, that's not working. Let me go back to this a second because it was there a second ago. So, okay, so I'm gonna go here now. Oh, I sent it to you. I don't know if it's easier.
Try to share it now because I took my share screen off.
So I'm going. I see it right now, and then I click on the green, but then it goes back to looking at you, which is scary.
Thank you.
Sorry, though. So, bear with me 1 second. Let me see one more time. So I see the rendering. Let me try the other thing. Let me try this, see if this works. Now, I'm going to hit share. You don't see it, right?
Not yet, no.
All right, so Lou, I sent it to you. Is it any easier for you to share it?
Let me see 1 second.
It's the PDF I sent.
And it was like an image of a building that you liked?
Correct. I don't know why it won't share.
All right, I'm going to try to share this.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, that's what Perry saw.
It looks
So
like
this
your
is what, yeah, this is what I presented to Lou, and after numerous conversations and twisting his arm, I got him to agree that this would work. As I was looking for a little bit more upscale modern look. Obviously, the home is not that big. It shows much bigger. The home, I think right now is 19 and a half feet. Now with the little bump out, it adds a few more feet, but it's more set back. But it's really, I think it's going to really show extremely nice. And that's the white siding that's on it with the brick on the front.
So black windows in the front,
Right. Black with all the
Black
accent.
windows all around.
not on the side, right?
No, everywhere, side
I see.
also.
And are you gonna have those horizontal, like dividers, muntins, or on the
Well-
windows like this one?
Not this style. I had a different type of muttons on the design. I could go back to that if you wish. All right, so we're done with this rendering.
Mhm.
You got a better idea?
Everybody
of-
happy?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can
Yeah,
stop
this is
sharing.
very, very useful because you can really get the impact of it. More than like a blueprint.
Right. So back to this and around the entire house, we're going with just plain glass casements. But on the front, we just wanted to differentiate it and have it a better street presence. So we added just these simple accents.
So kind
to
of
the casement.
prairie style.
Yes. And like Perry said, the rendering he had, it was a much bigger house, much better street presence. And my issue was trying to accommodate that design on a house that was much narrower. But this comes close.
How much is the setback in the brick on the facade of the house? Right, yeah, right there.
This is 12 inches only. It's a very small depth.
Mhm. Well,
Okay.
I think it's a huge improvement.
It's an interesting take on a house that's so simple now. I just would really object to the vinyl siding. I think that's going to cheapen what you're doing.
Well, we still don't have what the specifications. So what type of siding are you proposing? Where is that in the presentation? The color, who makes it, the size?
That I did not present. I did not know that I had to present that tonight. I apologize. I just figured I was going with the basic vinyl siding. I didn't know that I needed to present the size and the color. I think it's white, so I figured just the basic white. I didn't know there was variations, but I can get that for you, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, our experience in the past is that we asked, or the building department would ask the applicants to bring, if we were in person, actual samples of the material, because as you can imagine, some siding is going to have more of a shine. Sometimes it looks a little bit more matted. Some whites are brighter. I mean, I'm not too clear what we're approving if I don't see exactly what you're proposing. Likewise, do you have a window or door schedule?
This took about 5 minutes to open. Sorry about that.
Mhm. Is it in the packet that you submitted?
That's one, I was asking Perry exactly that, if he had submitted some sort of sample boards or samples to be handed out to the board. And he said that the building department never told him anything that was required.
Well, that's unfortunate. I apologize for that on behalf of the village, because applicants who come before the ARB are ordinarily advised that you need to show us actual samples of what you're proposing. And we certainly ask for a window or door schedule. We are actually signing off on exactly what you're installing. And I don't see, at least what you have in front of us, how we're able to do that. If you have something you can put in on the screen, then we can take it from there. But right now, this is just a schematic.
So basically it would be lighting, Perry, and the siding that you're using. I mean, if you're talking about vinyl siding, it comes in different widths. It also comes in texture that looks like fake wood as opposed to smooth. My preference would be smooth. I don't know, Mitch, maybe you can weigh in on that, but
It's also, I mean, looking what you have on the screen now, it looks like you're also proposed hardy board. I mean, unless I'm reading that wrong. White.
In the front, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, isn't that, I don't see vinyl. That's one of the reasons why we have to be specific this evening.
Okay, so obviously it
Oh,
looks
wow.
like that there's some answers I need to get for you.
Mhm.
So you're asking for the color, the size, the texture, whether it's smooth.
Just a sample. I mean, just put it simply, you really just need to give us a window and door schedule, any specs of proposed lighting.
Well, that is
Voila.
right there,
Great. And do we have that indicated on the plan where it goes?
right here. So these hi-hats are going right here on the flat roof.
Okay.
These are going, where is it? This is at the side entrance of the entrance to the apartment down below.
Okay.
And then on each side of the glass sliding door below the deck on the rear.
Mhm.
And then on each side of the folding glass door out to the deck at the rear. And these are the floodlights with the deflectors, so they're nighttime compliant. And that's, one's going here, one's going there at the back. This is at the driveway going down the side. And then we're going to have one here at the garage.
And those are motion detectors?
Yes, the floodlights are motion detectors.
Okay. 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 All right.
And the siding will be an 8-inch exposure.
Okay. Before moving on to the fence, any other comments or questions by members of the board on the house itself? Or the garage? Do we know what type of garage doors those are?
That's something Perry will have to select also.
Okay, so you could add that to the list. And in terms of the treatment, this is stucco? I can't read that. The garage?
This is the garage is an existing stucco finish.
Okay, so are you repainting it?
He's going to repaint it white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we do a partial approval, Deborah?
You know, I'm
new here.
not sure it gets the applicant anywhere, to be honest. If you want to, I'm not sure what we'd be approving.
Well, the shape, the
I see, the scale, you mean, and then the mass.
scale, the,
Because if I get some sort of partial approval, then I could start the construction documents. These
Well, I
are the
think-
documents that were created a year ago to start the process with the planning board, which took forever. And no, I didn't want to do anything with construction documents, not knowing if I would need to do additional changes.
I see.
And
I mean, I know, I from experience, again, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the meeting. I am not your usual chair. Our chair is not able to attend tonight, so he asked me to sit in for him. But from what I recall, Rick Rizzullo, our chair, would probably say that we can't give you approval for on the plans, but we can give you a conditional approval as to size, scale, and mass so that you can go forward with construction drawings. But that really is just a verbal assurance that
that's
you're not going to come back. Yes,
that
you
would
say
be quite valuable to us.
Yeah. That I know we can do, but again, that's just a verbal assurance that, because sometimes we have applicants come before us who just want that kind of green light so they don't waste time and money preparing construction drawings. You will not come back to us and hear, oh, wait a minute, this is that no longer is conditional approval. So I think that's fair, and that's a good request that Mitch made, that you can go ahead with construction drawings. We just can't sign off on these particular drawings in any other manner.
Okay.
Okay. The fence is something too that we should discuss tonight, regardless of where we leave this, because I'm a little, yeah, I'd like to hear from the applicant since you're here tonight. So which fence are you proposing? What is it, 1, 2, or 3 is your first choice?
My first choice would be number 1.
Okay, and what is that type of fence? Can you describe it?
I believe it's a wood fence, 6 feet with the top piece that's sort of slotted.
It's got a diamond lattice on it, right?
Yeah, it's a diamond
Correct.
lattice.
Diamond lattice topper. Okay. And then if your architect can just show us on the drawing, if you, with the survey, whatever you have in front of us, where is this fence being proposed?
All right, so let me just take care of the rear property line so I can zoom out. So along the rear property line, it will align with the corner of the garage and come across to the side property line with a gate access to this back area. The creek runs along here. So from this point, it's going to run straight along the property line and terminate right here, aligned with the corner of the house. Now over here, let me zoom back in. The fence will start at this corner, come across, and then go straight up the property line and terminate right here, aligned with the house again.
And what is the purpose of the fence?
Barry?
So just to give some privacy, but some buffering and some privacy. There's currently a fence on the left side of the home now going down the driveway partially, and there's no fence in between. There's no blocking. It's just totally open on the right side. So I just wanted to give some privacy.
Perry, can I'm going to make a recommendation.
Sure.
The house that you're building is got this kind of modern vibe. It's pretty, pretty strong statement, but the fences that you're looking at, to me, look old fashioned. I mean, that lattice is like a little bit like grandma's fence. I'm just saying that you might spend a little bit more time looking for a fence that suits the house, because they're not going to hang together too well, in my opinion.
Understood, and I appreciate that. The reason I guess that we chose one of the previous boards that we were on, I guess I was listening to some of the fencing choices that were out there, and the boards were talking about how they preferred wood versus vinyl and back and forth. So that's why I sort of leaned on the wood side, thinking that that's what the town would prefer. But there's definitely merit to what you're saying.
I would propose that you might take just take a look, like on the web, spin through just a bunch of images of fences and see if there's one that's a little bit more modern without, that still wood. Simple, I would say simple and modern too. Like no swoops, no whatever. I mean, just, it would speak to your house better, I think.
I appreciate that, and I agree with you. Is vinyl something that you sway away from? If it's made, does it have to be made of a certain material?
Perry, you can't go back to vinyl since the planning board has approved wood.
Gotcha. Okay.
Agree. And in answer to your question, you'll find in Irvington that wood is the preferable material.
Understood. Okay.
You picked a really nice fence, but Mitch had a good point. So
yeah. Can I see the front elevation of the house with the fence as you proposed it? I just want to see the scale and the design.
front.
The front, yeah, I mean, meaning, I'm sorry, the schematic that, do you have the front view of the house with the fence in the location radiating from
Do you have any drawing of the fence?
from looking at the
No,
house?
that's something I could, sketch up for the next time.
Okay, yeah, because I think that'll be important, both in terms of Mitch's comment about the style of the house and the fence being in keeping with the style, but also just looking at it in terms of scale, the size and the relationship of the front of the fence to the house, the front of the house.
Well, the property, one thing that is not shown on this drawing is that the properties, well, you can see it on the exterior elevations, that the property slopes to the back.
Right.
So at one point, you may see the top of the maximum you'll see from street elevation is half the fence. And then it disappears to the back because the property slopes to the back.
No, I'm just thinking of it from Perry's, like him looking at it more than anything. Just about it fitting the change to the house.
Understood. Let me go back to another quick question. Would the board be more preferable to, if I was to agree to put the hardy board on the front of the house and then siding, the vinyl siding on the sides and the back? Would the board be more open to that?
Someone else needs to speak to this. Gail, what do you think?
Can I see the front of the house again, how much hardy board we're talking about?
Not much.
Because you have other
The
materials.
question is, can you get the same exposure?
Well, if we go with a standard 8, well, will it match perfectly?
No, I'm the reveal. I just mean the reveal.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The exposure 8, if I'm going with an 8-ish exposure here, will we be able to get a vinyl siding that comes with a double panel of 8 inches? Will it match perfectly? It's a gamble. I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
Are you looking for a double 8? Is that I didn't even know they made them that big.
I mean, I would definitely prefer something that's not vinyl. So I think it's going to cheapen your project. You're doing such a wonderful, renovation and addition.
No,
Are you going to live there, or is this purely an investment in?
Well, my goal is to eventually live there. Like I said, it's been over a year now, so
yeah,
the clock is ticking. So at the end of the day, I need to get the project finished and at least get one of the floors rented so I can move forward.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Yeah, I think that's something, that proposal, you and your architect should discuss that, whether you think one is feasible and doable. And, again, look at the material you're selecting and coming back and showing us, and then let's see what you got.
So if it lined up, if we were able to get something that lined up, you possibly be open to it.
Yeah.
We've seen it done before. Let's put it that way. And sometimes that does make a difference.
Can I throw out one other suggestion when you get to detailing, Louise?
Okay.
Like that, a trim board running up your rake underneath is going to help you to trim out your, around those projecting mahogany
corbels
or brackets, instead of, piecing in little triangles of siding. And it adds a level of detail that even if it's white, it's just gonna look a little bit more finished, in my opinion.
It'll have some dimension and shadow to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a note. It doesn't really change the price that much. It's just, especially on the front, because that's, like put your money on the street, they say, so.
Right.
Just saying. So when you get to the level of detail.
Okay.
And then my last comment, we'll let you go, is just looking at the front of the house again, the slope of the property and where you're proposing that the fence starts. I just have to be a little bit clearer on that in order to approve it. I'm not seeing it in the drawings and it's not clear to me now. So when you come back, if you can show us that would be helpful.
Sure.
Okay.
I could take some pictures and show you exactly where it's going to start.
Yeah, even if it's like that. Yeah, sure. But where that fence is starting and where it comes out.
I mean, right now, the fence will be starting right about here. So if it's 6 feet, this is how high it's going to look, looking from the street side.
So
It
it gives you,
doesn't
it
cross
gives you
the
some
flood window.
privacy. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I could do is take pictures of the existing driveway to the left and to the right to show you exactly where it would sit, you know, and how it gives the privacy between the two homes.
Yeah, that's useful to us.
Okay.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, you have our assurances that you can go forward with construction drawings. I hope that helps speed it along with you, because our next meeting, I don't know if you'll be able to get on the agenda, but hopefully you will, because we do meet one more time in January. Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll see you in February.
Yeah.
Do you have a date in January?
I do believe, because this was a holdover meeting, our next ARB meeting's on Monday, January 24th. You'd have to talk to Sarah to find out if you can get on the agenda that quickly.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Best of luck and thank you.
guys.
Thank you very much.
For your help. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, moving along, we are gonna call, where are we at now? We are at, our fifth matter is 2 Ardsley Avenue, ARB 21-103, the proposed swimming pool.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Ready, John, you can identify yourself for the record and let us know what you're looking to get approved tonight.
John Malone, Ferguson Malone Architecture, representing the Keckman Greenberg family. We're looking at a pool addition to an existing house at 2 Ardsley Avenue East. The drawings, the site plan is relatively crowded. I'm sorry, just the demo plan. So the limit of the work is there's an addition of a pool in this area, a small pool in this area, or a reconstruction of an existing wall. Here, a stone wall, new stairs, and a railing associated with that. There is existing fencing and planting that already provides screening for the swimming pool. And then there's some stuff that's below ground, like a stormwater system. The part of the pool that you'll see, the coping stone, we're going to look for a granite coping stone, so something like what's shown here. So rather than bluestone, we're looking at granite, something that's a little bit, it'll still be gray, but something that is a little bit cooler on the feet. The wall is a reconstruction of an existing wall. So this wall that you see here is set back a little bit further to put more ground on the grade level, but the bond will match the existing wall here. This is granite, combination of granite and a field bond. And then the stair, the detail that we have for the stair is similar to what's there, except the stair does not have risers, the existing stair. So the proposed stair has the granite riser and then the stone veneer to match the wall. So that's the wall. The top of the wall is the same field bond granite, so there's no cap on the wall. And then on the way up the stair, there's a handrail that's a cable rail. So custom black steel 2x2 piping with cable rail. That's really the limit of what we have in front of you. So there you can see the cable rail that's being proposed on the stair. All of this is screened from the street by existing planting. There's existing planting shown all the way around the perimeter here. It is being expanded. There's some existing, I believe there are existing dogwoods. And so there's a little bit of boxwoods that are going in between the dogwoods, increasing the screening from the east. But there's already a wall that is basically going to screen the pool, which is great. Anybody have any other questions?
Is there any additional fencing going around the pool, or is it just the fencing that's around the property?
The existing fencing is to remain, and it already is pool code compliant. So it's a black metal, Mitch. It's a black metal, aluminum black pool fence.
Just out of curiosity, does it all come down in order to access the property to build the pool?
A few sections have to come down and be replaced in this area over here, Deborah, like where the existing gate is. So you have to take down a few sections to get equipment in and to take excavation out.
Okay, and no trees being removed, or if they are, they're getting put back?
Yeah, no trees are being removed really. I think, yeah, there may be some small impacts on the shrubs that are, the arborvitae that are here now, but they'll be replaced or.
Okay, and then the existing side patio comes out in order to allow for coverage of the pool and what you're building, correct?
Right.
Okay, all right. And then other than that no changes to doors or anything else in that area?
No.
Okay. Okay. Any questions by members of the board?
No.
Oh,
Okay, it looks pretty straightforward. There's no new fencing. We understand the pool design. I believe you were before us last year. You got all the requisite approvals by the other boards, so there's really not much left for us to discuss as far as I can tell. All righty, is there a motion to approve the application? So moved by Mitch, and we'll move to a motion to approve the application at 2 Ardsley Avenue for the pool. Votes in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're 5-0 and approved, John.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, John.
Believe it or not, we're at the last application. Number 6 is 39 Matheson Park, ARB 21-104. New residence in Matheson Park. How are you? Welcome.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Robert Cardello. I'm the architect for Lisa and Robert Bittencourt, the owners of 39 Matheson. And with your permission, I'll share my screen.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, little lag there. Forgive me if you want to help to script this a little bit. I can start with site planning and tell you a lot about how we ended up with the design, or I can go right to the exterior renderings and we can start there. What would be your preference?
I think, although it is getting late, I apologize since it's 9:30. I think because of the importance of the home and being in Matheson Park and it's a new construction, I'd appreciate a little bit of background if you wouldn't mind walking us through the entire presentation.
Not at all. So the proposed house essentially takes the footprint of the existing house, and there's a reason for that. This dashed line, if you can see it, is the existing footprint. Do you see that?
I do.
And then obviously the darker line is our new proposed residence. What that does is, even though it's just shy of 4 acres, it's a lovely lot. In that one section, you have this great little picture frame view of the Hudson. I'll give you a shot so you see what that view is. Sorry. Sorry, bear with me for a second. It seems to be taking a little while to load.
Take your time. Can I ask you a question while you're pulling it up? What is the status of the property now? Is the house been raised? Is you in demolition mode? What is going on?
No, we're waiting on your board's approval, and then we will be applying for our demolition permit.
Okay.
And our building permit.
Great.
So in this picture here, you see on the upper left-hand corner of the screen, that you see, you get this little window through this valley of trees of that view. It's at the high point of the property. If we slid down into the yard there, which is what you see in the background, you'd lose that. And so that's where we sort of started. We decided pretty quickly that that's the right place for the new house. There's some technical reasons for the actual profile of the footprint. And I won't bore you too much with them, but I'm sure you're familiar with how building height is measured. And unfortunately, we don't get that 5 foot additional feet of extra building height based on topography. We just missed it. So that combined with the building inspector calling the basement slab of the existing house the lowest grade, it really it forced us into a very roofy design, if that makes sense. And so at least from the front, it's very shallow. In the back, it opens up a little bit, but in order to conform with the building height, the roof is very present. And the client likes the shingle style that we ended up pursuing for the house. And another technical aspect, if you notice these topography lines here, there's a conservation buffer in red that we need to stay out of and not do any cut or fill in. And obviously, the further the house moves to the left of the page, the more it starts creeping into those steeper grades. And so that all had to do with sort of the profile of the footprint and the overall aesthetic of the house. We did receive a variance from ZBA for the pool within the front yard, which is a technical, another technical thing about the project. We're removing several nonconformities in the existing house. It's over the setback, it's over coverage, it's over building height and definition of story. So I think it's a good application in that respect. The house itself, I think, I'll go right to the renderings just because it's easiest. So this is, as you enter the property, it's the current driveway, essentially. You enter the property, and again, the first floor of the proposed house is essentially the first floor of the existing house. And you have a very symmetrical sort of dominant gable flanked by two bookends, a small covered porch and a dining room. And then you have this this garage, the 3-car garage, which has sort of a connector piece, conduit piece that attaches it back to the house. I'm happy to talk about materials. Do you want me to dive into that?
If you don't mind, if you just continue with the presentation, and we can switch to materials at the end.
Sure. This is the view from the back. So you can see there's the pool at grade. There's a small elevated terrace, and then a covered terrace adjacent to that. And then you could. I'm happy to show you the floor plans as well if you're interested. This is sort of the pool, bath, and mudroom side of the house, and this is, the living family room primarily, and upstairs is the master bedroom, is the gable here. and others. Obviously given that view to the primary rooms. Any questions?
Any questions from the board so far?
No.
Okay. All right, great. Do you want to go into the materials now?
Absolutely. So I think the easiest thing to do, I do have the dark sky compliant plan in the package. You'll notice with the lighting specification. This is sort of a global snapshot of the material choices. We're using a Maybach double dipped pre-finished shingle, cedar shake on the wall surface on the exterior. We're using a Da Vinci composite roof, and I'll show you the color, but it's, you're probably familiar with it. It's a composite roof made to look like a cedar roof. This image here on the upper right is intended to sort of emulate the, try this again. My apologies. There's a metal roof covering these porches off the front. And this image on the sample board is intended to, represent that. That metal roof in that kind of gunmetal gray. This is an example of the chimney, even though they've chosen a different stone veneer, which I'll show you. The windows and doors we're using in the house are an Anderson A series, which is a clad window and French doors. We are using a Nana style door between the covered porch, which will have retractable screens, and in the family room itself. The front door will be a solid wood door. The garage doors will be painted white, consistent with the trim on the house. And then this image is meant to show you the nickel gap material on the ceilings of the porches. It also shows you the detail of those retractable screens that we will also have on our covered porch off the back of the house, or we intend to have. Well, that's you guys. This goes into a little bit more detail on the individual components of the house. The Maybach shingle, which I'm sure you know about, it's a great product. I put it on my house 20 years ago and I haven't painted it. And this is just some of the specifications related to that. This is the Da Vinci roofing that I mentioned earlier. And it's the weathered gray is the color that we've chosen. You see here down in the bottom right corner.
When they say composite shingles, what does that mean? Is that like hardy board, or is it more plastic?
It's plastic.
Okay.
I think it would be plastic with some usually post-consumer or industrial wood thrown in, like Trex or something, right?
Right.
Some wood sawdust.
And Mitch, I take it you've seen the Da Vinci synthetic roof?
I haven't seen the Da Vinci. Looks good though.
Yeah, I've never seen it. And obviously you would choose this over traditional cedar shakes because it's longer lasting, or is it more a stylistic aesthetic taste?
Yeah, the client is really focused on owning the house and not having the house own them. So they're trying to really make this as maintenance free as possible. And truthfully, the price difference between cedar and this kind of product, they're almost equal. Cedar has gone up so high. And so this offers them the look they want without any maintenance whatsoever.
And what's the longevity for these shingles, just out of curiosity?
They haven't been around for that long, but I think, the cedar roofs were a 30-year roof, maybe a 50-year. If you take perfect care of it, these will probably be a 50 to 100-year roof, I would guess.
You have experience with this material on another project?
Yes, yeah, we've actually used several different types of synthetic roofing. This is frankly one of the nicer versions, in my opinion. It's also one of the more expensive versions, but we've used them on several projects. We've used others as well, and this is our preferred spec.
And they're installed like a shape, right, on furring strips with roofing paper and, right?
Yeah, it's very similar to the way you would install a cedar shake traditional roof.
Wow.
This snap clad panel is the metal roofing we're proposing out front in the musket gray finish. So you can see the house colors is sort of that white gray combination of materials, with the exception of the roof. This is some information on the Anderson A series windows indoors. The grill patterns obviously are per the elevations, and I'm happy to go through those with you. The exterior color is they're white. The interiors will also be white. The hardware is going to be just a traditional satin nickel. And so this is just some more information on the windows and doors. This is the door, I believe, that goes into the garage. The passage door that goes into the garage, just a painted door. This is an example of a French door. This is that Nana style door, that folding door I had mentioned earlier between the covered porch and the family room. Byram Supplies is where my client went to go look at the veneers and chose an ashlar, Byram black ashlar, and that'll be used on the base of the building. You'll see it again in the renderings, which I'll pull up. The chimneys, there's no real site walls on our project. There's a small wall that's less than 12 inches along the driveway that's just holding back some grade, but there's nothing significant. Bluestone patios. This is the nickel gap siding for the ceiling of those porches. The cable rail. This is the company that we're specifying for our cable rail detail. It'll have a wood cap. And again, you'll see that in the renderings itself. And the exterior lighting as per the dark sky. These are our step lights, sconces. The gas fireplace, there's an outside fireplace on the porch, on the covered porch. This is the specification for that unit. So if you go back to the elevations, the two-dimensional elevations, it might help you to visualize the stone veneer, how all these roof lines sort of tie together. Like I said, from the driveway side, grade is pretty tight. There's a tree we're trying to save right in that little island. So we're trying not to cut into grade too severely there at the front. And then in the back is where there is a bit of a drop off. And this is where you'll see that ashlar gray at the base of the building. There was one more page I forgot to mention. that here. So the pool fencing, I have a detail that I'm happy to share, but it's an anodized aluminum 5-foot high pool fence that our landscape architect had specified. And I'll show you exactly where that is in plan. This is just showing those retractable screens. This is a visual of the same spec. That's that same cable rail detail that I showed you that you see in this illustration here. And there is a small outdoor shower in the back that we'd like to do in a natural wood material. We'll go back to the site plan for a minute and show you guys where that pool fencing is. So you'll see it comes off of the corner of the garage here. There is a gate there, 4-foot wide self-closing gate. It runs along the top of this sort of topo ridge. It turns, there's a pair of 5-foot high, 4-foot wide gates at the backside. And then it returns along this side of the pool and into the corner of the house.
And why did the homeowners choose to run the pool gate in that location for that length as opposed to tight around the pool?
Right around the pool here?
Yeah. Just it's
okay if I say I don't know. I don't. I
just don't know if it strikes anybody else as kind of a curious. I mean, I understand because of what you talked about in terms of the setback, so to speak, of that area. That I mean, is that the furthest location west that the fence could go? I'm just curious why they chose that location.
No, I mean, I suppose they could have proposed, running the fence all the way around the property, but they probably would have gotten some static on the conservation area. Mm-hmm. It's worthy of note that there's actually a pool and a pool house down right in the middle of that that we're removing. And that was a big topic of conversation with the planning board on how to remediate that and all the steps involved in that. So I would guess that's probably the reason why they kept this angle here. Mm-hmm. And then just left a little room around the pool itself. So they have young kids, so kids can play and do whatever.
What are you saying, Deb? I'm sorry, I'm not clear about.
No, it just doesn't. I don't know. It struck me when I looked at it originally. I was just curious. I thought there was a reason why that angle. I don't know. It's okay.
I'm certain there is, and I apologize. I don't remember
okay.
being. I don't know. I don't think if I personally was involved in that conversation with the landscape architect.
Okay. And for our purposes, you said there are 2 gates.
Yeah, well, there's a single door, single gate here.
Yeah.
And then there's a pair down the page here.
Okay. And I assume that the width of those gates is in your application because your application is very thorough. I just can't recall at the moment if I saw it or not.
It says on the drawing.
Yeah,
does it? Okay. Yeah. Oh, it does too. Okay. Mm-hmm. Great.
You'll notice that, again, I don't believe the landscape architect is here tonight, but for the most part, I do have pictures of the existing house. There's, we're not intending on doing, there's a very pleasant planting buffer that exists around Matheson Park. This road only feeds 5 or 6 houses down below us, as you may or may not know. So it actually has very pleasant screening. So we're not proposing anything here other than some of the feedback from the town's landscape architect did request that we provide some screening on both the east and west side of the pool, which you're seeing here.
Okay, great.
And like I said, I think the illustrations probably do the best job of showing you the project. I do have these pictures of the existing site, if you're interested in zooming in on those.
No, I'm familiar with the area, so it's not necessary for my purposes. Anybody else?
Yeah, I walk my dog there all the time.
Yeah. Very thick vegetation between those two houses. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, screening not necessary probably, but.
Okay, are there any questions from members of the board?
No, very thorough. Thank you.
No, we appreciate it. It's a beautiful property. It's a lovely design. Your presentation was very thorough. It was easy to follow before the application, and you made it that much easier this evening. So thank you for that, especially at this hour.
Kind of you to say, thank you.
Yes, and the only material that I questioned before this evening was the choice of the shake. A home like this that has so much of the roof, the low profile of the roof being so visible, I had expected it to be cedar, but it sounds like that there's a material that you're recommending that improves upon cedar, and the color obviously looks lovely. So I don't have an objection. I don't know if anybody else does, but overall, I think it's a nice balance and design that you've come up with.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really a bizarre world out there. I don't know how closely you're following it, but you know, a slate roof, which used to be cost prohibitive, absolutely, is actually getting very close to what cedar pricing is right now. It's so urban. It's unbelievable. And I think if it weren't the case, they would probably opt for just a natural cedar roof.
Understood. Okay.
It seems it was nice to hear about this material. I was just wondering about the bluestone around the pool. Isn't that pretty hot on your feet?
Yes, it can be. But it is the material choice that the client had made with the landscape architect. I agree with you, though.
Yeah, just a question. Anyway, because everything, it just seems like everything is, really thinking forward, in terms of the rest of it. So
porcelain has come on. A lot of people are doing, lighter porcelains around their pools, and it's nice stuff.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen that done.
Okay, I think for our purposes that should conclude your presentation. It doesn't look like there's any questions from the board. I don't think there's a need to go through interior elevations, floor plans, or anything along those lines. I think we're at a point where is there a motion to approve the application from a member of the board?
So move.
Okay, so moved. Okay, so for this application, 39 Matheson Park, we ask you to take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you are approved. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time this evening.
Okay.
Good luck.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye now. Okay, and with that 5-0 approval, I think that concludes our meeting for this evening. Let me just double check. It is. Are there any other questions from members of the board before we wrap it up? No. Okay, Sarah, I think we're good to go. We're going to conclude the meeting this evening at 10 o'clock sharp. How about that? Okay, guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Deborah.
Bye-bye now.